when we think about film, we often discuss visuals, camera angles, costumes, and lighting. But today, we're talking about the invisible force of sound. We'll go beyond the visuals to explore the magic of sound in Nigerian cinema. And joining us is no other than film composer and sound designer Tolu Obanro, or as people call him, Tyanx. How fun? How you doing?
I do okay, bro.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about this because honestly, like I said, there's a different components that make a film, right? And sound is important. Now, people often, it kind of goes unnoticed sometimes when you talk about the sound. How important is sound to any production, to film?
So if you ask me, I'll say sound will eventually shape your film. And like, if I'm going to take a percentage, I'm going to say like 60%. Your film is 60% sound.
Is it because you are doing sound?
I'm not even, 60%. So just imagine that whatever it is that is done on set, how dirty the dialogue is everything you are listening to. I don't think anybody watching movies, a lot of work goes into making that dialogue audible, the sound design, the music composition, and all of that. So I mean, sound is like 60% of
I like that you mentioned music, you know, because also the emotions, everything just feels true and genuine and correct.
Exactly.
I got to go into a huge part about this. I mean, globally, major awards like the Oscars, the BAFTAs, they've incorporated awards to celebrate, you know, sound. Since it's 60%, it's only right that, you know, people get credit for it. Do you think Nigerians appreciate sound, celebrate sound engineers, people who put sound together, making sure it's, you know?
Oh, well, so shout out to AMVCA. I think I won the last, this year.
I like he says that hopefully it's like, stuff.
Yeah, and I won Eddies for soundtrack this year. So the amazing thing about those two is this is the first time they're actually separating this category from music. For films, and such that Headies had this category for soundtrack. They didn't even call it score, soundtrack. And then AMVCA brought in the category for score. I think it used to be sound editing, and then it was just like so casual. And then people just, you know, like came out, like people give like a lot of credit to international film composers like Hans Zimmer, Ludwig, Lawrence, and all that. And then shout out to MultiChoice, they came up with that category, and amazingly, the first time they are coming with both categories, either on Eddies or AMVCA, I won it. So
let me start by saying congratulations again.
Thank you.
But I mean, let's talk about a few maybe projects you've worked on or projects in general that you think had standout sound. And do you think it translates, that fans understood that and enjoyed it more? Okay,
so I won for 7 Doors, and then there was, of course, and there was Lishabi. I think I was just chilling, you know. I'd done the work, it was out there, I wasn't even watching, it was on Netflix. I probably was sleeping or something. Then as I get messages, guy. Somebody tweeted you, Fuse also tweeted like whoever did the sound for Alicia B is a genius. So I think people recognize when they actually hear good sound from having bad sound. I mean, when I finished 7 Doors, I wasn't even paying attention. I don't know if you know that because the stress was so much that
I can imagine.
I couldn't even, but when I now won the MVC for it, I had to go and listen again to the OST and like, okay, I think a lot was done here. Same thing. So I think that the recognition is beginning to peak, and I'm excited and here to see it.
I like that. Honestly, it's important that people get recognized for the work they put in. Inclusion it matters a lot. But I think a huge part, especially when you talk about film, is, you know, not just the dialogue, but also the music.
Yes.
I want to know, as someone who's, of course, done both sides, how would you differentiate maybe the technique, you know, behind, oh, okay, this is sound for dialogue, this is sound for music, this is where it comes in? Because people will say Nollywood is a lot of dialogue, you know. How would you differentiate?
Yeah, so Nollywood is a lot of dialogues, but, you know, it's becoming like better now. Directors now think, oh, let's give this moment, let's have a montage, let's have like a break, let's let people soak in that emotion, and then they give space for that music. So it's been a lot of dialogue, but you have to now be, as a composer, intelligent enough to know how and when to elevate whatever emotions you want felt in a particular scene or wherever, you know, the action is going on.
Now, I mean, I'm super excited the era we're in, you know, the films we're seeing, sound being recognized, but a lot of times I like to, you know, track growth, and I don't want to do it, but compared to international standards, compared to, you know, Hollywood, how would you say, is there pressure, you know, to, now that people are seeing recognizing this sound and how it's better. Do you think, we're about to get there, you know?
So yeah, I think you know, when we used to just do films for TV, local TV and all that, you could like pass, you know, do anything and, you know, pass for it. But when you, as a composer, for example, you are being talked about on the continent, you want to like give in your everything. And then internationally, I don't think we are doing bad. We are not just getting that recognition yet. And there are lots of sound guys, trust me. There's Mola, Kolade Murakiyo, MPSC, there's Ava, there's DJ Clem, there's all of those people. And I think that I'm just fortunate to always be on those very huge jobs. Fine, I'll do the work you get. But, you know, a lot of people do this work and need more recognition locally first before we can actually even sell that sell that out. But I think internationally, in a way, I think if I Google my name, I get that I get that AI recognition. And I don't think that's just national or restricted to local.
I gotta be honest with the likes of, you know, these streaming platforms, you know, Netflix, Prime. Our work truly is, you know, has maybe more budget. In fact, you know, to make this sound if possible and to push it out of the, you know, the continent as well. But let me talk about our sound in a different way. I mean, the culture, you know, the indigenous sound. Sometimes I'm thinking, how did they get this sound? Like, how does it sound so, you know, indigenous
and cinematic?
Yet without losing any of the, give us, because I'm curious.
I think the first time I tried it, it was King of Thieves, I guess you call it. You know, everybody will just do sound like, okay, this is local. So I got a brief. I was like, what do I do? Are you sure I can do anything I want with this? I'm like, and the writer was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let me just think Troy. Let me think Troy made in Nigeria. Let me think whatever Avatar made in West Africa. So that's how I came out with the traditional instruments, playing cinematic moves and interpreting emotions, you know, and not even being restricted. I did it not sure of what the reception will be, but I mean, after that, it's been really good and everybody has really turned up. Yeah, they pay.
I want to talk about this because I'm sure there are, you know, younger people who probably want to do what you do, want to recognize, like sound, and appreciate it. Are there mentorships? You know, are there schools that properly help? You know, because at the end of the day, right, we want to make sure that the younger generation, you know, are well equipped.
So shout out to some of my friends that actually went to film school, properly studied film composition. Shout out to Z. You know, there's a film school in Jos that actually really functions. And, you know, I didn't know about that until I was to give a master class to these people. And then I just faced them like, guys, you already do everything, man. What am I here for? But I was like, okay, this is the business part of it. This is how you're going to interpret everything you've learned. So, I mean, I recognize that film school. There's music school in Unilag, maybe not composition, but you know how studying is. You study a thing and then practice it with something else. You become by the way, I'm a geologist. You become a geologist and decide to do bowls, you decide to do oil, you decide to do construction. So whatever it is you are learning, it's your responsibility to now channel that into whatever you want to do. Some people do sound for adverts only. They don't do films. Some do sounds for radio. They don't do films. So, I mean, it's just channeling that, what you've learned.
You know, I think it's incredible when I talk to, you know, people who are creative, you know, people who have done it really well. And I'm curious what they studied and what they're doing. I'm thinking, I think it's so important now that people should go to school to actually what they want to apply in real life.
So I think that's also very dicey, you know. When our parents say go to school and study this, I think they have a point, you know, because you might not even know what you are doing at the time you're trying to make a choice. But it's always good to study whatever you want to study. That thing that you think is your passion, also study it. There's nothing stopping you from multi-studying.
I like that. My final question, if you had unlimited resources, I feel like resources is very important, you know, money can change your project. If you had unlimited resources, what kind of sonic world, what are you going to do? What sound do you want to interpret? What do you want people to hear more?
So I'm going to finish a composition and have 100 or 200 or 500 man orchestra replay what I've written. You know, that's good. Yeah, that's going to be like a lot of resources, but you know, that will come out at the level that will, prick the attention of Oscar, and all that. Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I want to be there to see it happen.
I don't know when it will. I don't know when it will.
And maybe a Guinness World Record.
I'll be glad.
Well, I want to say thank you for being a part of the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Shed some light on this, and maybe, like you said, we'll have you back.
I'll be glad to be here. Thanks so much.
Well, I promise you the biggest stories, and of course that fire chat. Hopefully, it inspires you the way it inspired me. And hey, go to school, go learn. That information will be beneficial to making money later. My name is Sam Dandy. I guess we've got to say bye-bye at this point. We're back tomorrow, same time, 4:30 p.m. Bye for now.